Hey guys, welcome back. We are in the van. We're going to install this fuse block in the engine bay. We're going to run a 0 gauge wire all the way to the engine bay. We're going to finish off installing these USB ports and getting those mounted up. I need to do a little bit of modifying to this piece of board to get it all working properly. But once that's done, we'll mount it up, get it all boxed in, wired up, plugged in and ready to go. So let's get started. First on my list, we're gonna get this all done up, ready to go. Looks good. Nice and flat. Wow. Okay, let's get this sanded up and installed. Woo. Get lost in the middle of time. That ain't going anywhere. Now that I've secured that, it ain't going anywhere. It's screwed to the wall. You budge it and it moves the whole van. So we're gonna get these all wired up and yeah, we'll test it out. Everything wired together here. Let's throw some fuses in it. So let's calculate here. We want 10 amp fuse in the DC to DC circuit breaker. Or in this one, I have nothing here to test it. Oh yes I do. All right, the only thing I have to test this thing is this thing. It's a Bluetooth transmitter for the radio. And she fires right up and works. Good to know. So we need 5 amp here and a 5 amp here. So if these ones blow, I can change them up to 7.5. But as far as I know, these put out 2 amp plus 2 amps. So 2 amps per, so 4 amps. So 5 amps should be enough. So let's pop these in. So I accidentally had the switch wires wired in the wrong spot, but everything's good. I had the negative and the positive backwards, but I didn't realize, considering I mounted the switch, the light switch is just fine. I should have known better. Oh well. So we're gonna pop these fuses back in and see if everything works. What a fuse. Now in the future, if I need to upgrade, I still have space because I can take 2 of these cables and mount them and then just switch this for a 10 amp fuse. And it should be fine. It just means this would be on one circuit breaker instead of 2 separate breakers. I just figured I've got the space, might as well use it. But let's test it out. So switch 1, boom, works. All those switches up there work. Let's test them all out. This one, yep. This one, yep. This one, yep. Next, this one, That one works. Okay. What's nice about those chargers, they work for the battery operated shower, it works for the drones. It's always nice to have a good USB port that works, that you know you're not going to damage your items, because you don't know whether these quick charges are going to damage your drone batteries, your camera batteries, and things like that. So it's nice to have some old school USB ports and some new school USB ports. Keep that in mind. Now, the switch. Yep. Boom. Fast charging enable. Charging. But there you go. She works. Now I have somewhere to charge my phone. I'm gonna put this battery cover back on because we're done playing back there. Let's go find a location for this and run a wire and see where the wire's going.
Set you free, show you what this world can really be.
Okay, so what I've got going on here is I'm running my 0 gauge cable underneath this flooring, right? And then I'm gonna have a piece of dricore stick up all the way to the back of the seat. And then that way when my curtain falls, whether it falls 2 inches that way, 2 inches that way, it doesn't matter. The floor is insulated. The heat is trapped inside the living compartment. Now what I've got to do is just clean up all this area, get the vacuum, get it all nice and cleaned up. And then I'm also going to cut this big square out all the way up to the doghouse. And I've got a big piece of square dry cord that I'll install there. And then that way, if my freezer's there and I want to take the seat out, I don't have to remove everything out of this area. And it's insulated from the floor. There's no heat coming up from the transmission or the mufflers or the engine bay interfering with my freezer. I do notice one thing, that this whole area does get warm after a long drive, so I'll have to keep watch of that. But as long as the vehicle's driving, the freezer will kick into full blast and keep everything pretty cold. And then once the engine's cooled down, the freezer won't be working as hard. Also, another cool thing about having the freezer in the front is if the living compartment's hot and the cabin is cold, the freezer doesn't have to work as hard to stay cold because it's inside the living area, warming up or using warm air to cool itself. Whereas in the cabin area, it'll have fresh, cold air constantly. Well, not as cold as it is outside, but when it is at colder temperatures, the freezer will work better. I wasn't going to tackle the freezer area project, but I figured I'm already here. I've got the seat removed. I might as well continue on, and hopefully, maybe maybe we can get the captain's chair, the swivel seat installed, and get that in there. That'd be pretty cool. All right. Well, let's grab the vacuum and get started. Okay, so I've wired my cable, as you've seen in the time lapse, through the Chevy's already wiring location. Put it into a big conduit, which wraps around out of the way, so there's still lots of foot room in here, and then straight into the engine bay. And then I used a pass-through waterproof gland. My first hole was a failure because apparently there's a piece of drain plastic in the way on the other side. So that's awesome. Now, I went down through there, which is the same area I went through and wired the fuse box. And it comes up. And I got it through and touched the body and it sparked, and touch the positive and it sparked. So now I got a bunch of wood here. So if you're doing this and you're installing a Renogy DC2DC charger, don't connect it to the charger until you've got your wires crimped and lugged, because I'm gonna be in here. It's not like a bad one. I mean, you could put the positive on the positive battery and it'll spark once, but it's gone. It's just probably a capacitor or something just taking a little charge and getting it ready to charge. It's not a big deal, but if you're not a sparky kind of guy and you don't understand, then you should just make sure everything's disconnected, crimp your lugs, and then connect it when you're done. Place the fuse in there and you're good to go. So let's get to it. Alright, I got my positive all hooked up. Got my fuse in. Got my fuse block in. Got my fuse in. It's secured to the van. It ain't going nowhere. It's all nicely running through the van. The only thing I gotta do is figure out where I'm gonna hook up this ignition wire, because it needs to know when to charge the van. So once I come up with a solution for that, I mean, I could test it and just touch it to, like, I could just run it back to the battery over there and just touch it to the negative or the positive wire. And if it charges the battery, then we're good. I'll leave that for another day, but I'm just happy that I have all my electronics mostly tied down. So now we can go to our list and cross some stuff off. Wire USB ports, done. Connect and install fuse under the hood, check. So that's two things off the list we got done. So next time I actually get into electronics, we can find the accessory, connect that blue wire, install the fan, secure it in place, install the gas detector, wire the fridge cable, got RGB lights to do, got to secure the batteries, and we got to ventilate the battery box. Some of that I'll do off camera though, but I'll show you my progress when I'm through. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was pretty fun. I got some work done at quite a bit of the day. Got some cleanup to do, and then we'll move on to the next project. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.